Nearly all the robots that have been developed so far are tools that are adjuncts to existing human faculties. There's been a coevolution between humans and their tools dating back to when our first ancestor, Homo habilis, picked up a rock 2.5 million years ago. And so robotic research is fascinating as a laboratory for exploring what remarkable creatures we human beings are.
Certainly as a kid, I was always fascinated by robots. Robots and technology in general are an inevitable part of our culture.
The public's perceptions of robots are shaped by entertainment and is filtered through motion pictures. Robots are portrayed as bad guys oftentimes because the unknown equals fear equals drama.
The classical fear with regard to robots in science fiction movies is that they're going to become smarter than us, and therefore they will dominate us, control us, we'll become their slaves.
The villain side comes from the fact that they may replace us. It's like they're impersonating us, right? It's a crime to impersonate us.
I think a lot of people watch too much television. There's a lot of things you can dream up in a sci-fi movie, but when it gets down to reality, it's a much more difficult task to make that kind of technology come to life.
I think robots have such a bad rap. I love science fiction, but if I get one more shot of the Terminator, I think I'm going to scream. Rescue robots are saving lives. You're talking about much smaller robots that can come and rescue you after a disaster. Highly mobile, highly agile, very self-contained, and semi-autonomous.
We use a lot of robotics in our daily life. A lot of people don't know that. They all think robot means that is Arnold Schwarzenegger's movie. That's not what it is.
Place with robots, and we need more of them.
A lot of people think of Honda as just an automobile or a motorcycle company, and they really are surprised to learn that there's this research program in robotics and that Honda has developed a robot, Asimo. The goal is to eventually have a bipedal humanoid robot that can be helpful in a person's home.
People sometimes ask, well, why would Honda go into bipedal mobility? And I think the answer is in the word mobility itself. Honda's always been a mobility company. The whole development started in 1986, and at that time, the general thinking, even among specialists, was that it would be impossible to develop a bipedal robot.
不可能にチャレンジしてみようということで、開発がスタートしたわけです。歩かせるまでに10年ぐらいかかってます。
Attempting to replicate human motion is a remarkably challenging task. It's much more complex than we would ever imagine when we look at the idea of just stepping one foot in front of the other. In many ways, the robot walks like a toddler, back and forth, very carefully, slowly, and as the robot matures, hopefully we'll see this smoothing out of the movement.
We tend not to think of seeing as a form of intelligence, but it most definitely is. It's not a simple matter of light going into your eyeballs. You also need your brain to process all the information so you know what things are, how far away they are, all that sort of thing. And we tend to forget, but as children, human beings learn to see. And similarly, robots, such as my old mate Asimo here, must learn to see as well.
This Asimo is the smilier, smarter brother of the one I met at Disneyland. It looks at the world through two camera eyes. We interpret these images as a man waving, but to begin with, Asimo can't interpret anything at all. Professor Kerner here may as well be a psychedelic swirl of digital rubbish.
So, Professor, Asimo is just an uncomprehending box of electronics. So how do you make him look and learn?
Well, we start teaching Asimo to see just the way a baby starts to explore the world. So if you put an object close to the baby in its reaching distance, the baby immediately attends to, tries to fixate it or to grasp it. So going close to his grasping and reaching distance, shows him this is an important object and he should try to attend to fixate.
So he's locked on target.
Yes.
sort of?
As long as you are in this close distance, in this reaching distance, the robot will try to keep interaction, because any object which is in this reaching distance is very important for him.
So if I walk over there,
then he will lose interest in you.
as indeed he has. Well, that's a very familiar sensation.
We also can use acoustic cues, calling Asimo to raise his attention.
Asimo, look at me. Well, there you go. All right, mate. Once we have Asimo's attention with an object, you can have a go at identifying what it is.
Toy duck.
Yes, that is correct. It is a toy duck. Next, I want Asimo to learn something new. I've brought along two objects for him to identify. One is his grandpa from the 1950s, and the other is a Mini Cooper, the British one. So, he's never seen these before. He's learning these from scratch. So let's see what he makes of this. Asimo.
Unknown object.
Grandpa.
Grandpa, say, yes, this is correct, or no, this is wrong.
Yes, this is correct.
Okay.
That means he's learned it. Now, we'll try that out later on. I'll go back with Grandpa and we'll see if he remembers who he is. Next, the Mini Cooper. Asimo. Pay attention, it's one of the most important small cars in history.
Maybe toy car.
Mini Cooper.
Mini Cooper. Okay.
Right. Now let us see if the lads can remember Grandpa. Asimo.
Grandpa.
And now, it's not a toy car, remember? It's now a Mini Cooper. Asimo.
Mini Cooper.
Precocious little brat, isn't he? Good.
But what Asimo was about to do next was the really clever stuff. So, will Asimo recognise it as a chair?
So he's nodding, saying yes, he recognises that as a chair.
Yeah.
And just to make sure it wasn't cheating, I got them to show it a table and ask if that was a chair. It's not fooled.
You saw?
Yeah. That's very good.
Hold on a minute. What you've just seen is a machine making a judgment. Asimo's identified an object it's never seen before by recognizing its features and working out that these qualify it as a chair.
This is an interpretative skill at a very, very basic level, but it is that rather than mere recognition. It's not shapes in slots again, it's a bit of thought.
Yes, so it's basically towards some understanding of the concept of the meaning of things rather than just their appearance.
Right, so is this the beginnings of genuine intelligence rather than simply programming?
We are targeting for this, yes.
How long until he takes over the world?
I don't think this will happen. So
I'm not so sure.
I thought this was a pretty impressive glimpse of artificial intelligence, and the potential is mind-bending.
Thank you for making time in your busy schedule to visit us. You're welcome. He's going this way. for delivery.
Excellent.
I brought hot coffee, Japanese tea, barley tea, and oolong tea.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Asimo. Hello Asimo and welcome to News International.
Hello, Helene. It's great to be here. It is the first time that I visit such prestigious editorial offices.
You're right, Asimo. And we know that you like making headlines. But you have to know, Asimo is a right foot, and to make things not too easy, I will put this boat in front of the left leg. And in fact, thanks to this laser sensor, it is totally able to detect the ball and to position itself on the right place. So you can position yourself now. And also, while it will be true, you just have to also imagine the amount of computation which is needed to keep the balance, because obviously it will be only on one foot. So I'm ready whenever you want. Yeah, everybody is watching you, don't be afraid. Even the TV is there. Yes. Okay, good shot, but you are not matching back up yet. Don't be afraid, Leo. No, you have very good processors, very quick, a lot of speed in your movement. And actually, yes, let's make a demonstration. Maestro, music. Great, Asimo. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this presentation is coming to an end. Asimo will wave goodbye now. So thank you very much, Asimo, for showing us what we can do.
It was a pleasure being invited here. Goodbye, everybody. Hope to see you soon.
Bye.